Something that and I think many other people have a serious difficulty with is struggling to be present in the moment most of our lives. There's constantly other things that you can be thinking about: the future, the past, things going on with work, with your kids, with your family, with your relationship, with absolutely anything keeping you from being present. But that prevents you from really making any strides. Or making any new real connections. The best conversations and the best relationships or friendships that are made is when you are completely in the moment talking to that person back and forth. If you're in a business meeting per se, and you can tell that the other person is just, they may be looking you in the face or in the eyes, but you can tell that they're just glossing and completely ignoring everything that you're saying, and they're just going along with whatever thoughts are in their head, and they're completely discombobulated. Or if you're talking to your spouse, I know I'm very guilty of this. If I'm talking to my girlfriend, sometimes my mind is on work and I might be looking at her, but I am not there mentally. And people smell that. It is a terrible way to go about it. Or if you're trying to make a new friend, or if you are doing anything, you got to find a way to be present. I think social media is really killing our brains when it comes to that, because what do you do when you're bored? You are usually in some sort of comfortable position, just mindlessly scrolling on your phone, just getting into a more comfortable position, just glossing over the entire world around you, just sinking into a deeper trance of just scrolling, hoping that there's something fun that you can send one of your friends, or gives you some sort of laugh or entertainment for a few brief seconds, and then you just continuously scroll. So how does that correlate to being in conversations or living your life? it I don't know if there's any scientific data to back this up, but I know when I just wake up and I start scrolling on my phone, and 2 hours pass by in a blink of an eye, and it went from 6:30 a.m. to 8:30, and I've just scrolled on my phone all morning, and I don't even know where the time went. My entire brain is just filled with mental fog. It would be impossible to have a congruent conversation with somebody about something intellectual. I would never be able to be present, probably because I'm in this trance like state. To the converse, when I am living in the present, that's sometimes when one of the best ideas come from. And it's when I'm the most creative and innovative, where I make the best leeways on not just my business and work, but future plans that I could potentially have. What the funny part is, when I'm not thinking about the future and I'm thinking about the present, that's when I have the ideas that are going to benefit my future self to the highest possible degree. Whereas when I'm thinking about the future, I'm getting almost further away from that reality, because I'm not doing the things that need to be done to obtain that future. And I used to spend, and I still do spend way too much time thinking about what I'm going to do in the future, instead of doing the things that I need to do today to get to that future self that I want to be. And all that matters is the actions and the results that you get from putting in the work. It doesn't matter how much you think about something. When you're present, you have a better decision making ability, whether there's some sort of problem that arises or preventing future problems that come. Even if you were just doing something silly, for me, something that allows me to be completely present and just take my mind off of all work and everything is pickleball. Or I used to do a lot of MMA. I haven't found a good gym in Arizona. I've been mainly just playing pickleball. And you don't have an option. You are fully present. Or if you're playing well, when I was doing MMA a bunch in Colombia, you are forced to be 100% present, because if you don't, you're going to get choked out, or you're going to get punched in the face or in the gut. So any other problems that you have are completely in the back burner. All you're focused on 100% with your energy is what you are doing in that exact moment. And having those hobbies that take your mind off of everything else and keep you 100% present, I think are very useful. One, it builds a community and a tribe of making some very good friends that have nothing to do with business or anything, but having a community and some sort of tribe outside of that with pickleball right now is fantastic. But again, if you were trying to make friends, let's just say you were talking to someone and they're sitting on their phone, and they're maybe look up once in a while and they shake their head and they're nodding and they're clearly not interested in what you're saying, but they're going along with it. Nobody wants to talk to that person. Or A different version of this is someone who only wants to talk about themselves and they are never present because they have no empathetic ability while talking to somebody else, because they are not present, because they are just thinking about themselves or their own ego. Nobody wants to talk to those kinds of people. And I've been guilty on both sides of that in the past, in every single aspect of this. I've had massive problems in my life because I have not been able to be 100% present. And it is a very difficult thing to do. But when you meet someone who always is, you know that they are. And that is an incredibly powerful thing. But it's also a huge detriment if you aren't. If when you're in conversation with anybody, you are never really there. You are doing something else in your brain, or you're not focusing, or you're just have some sort of mental fog that's preventing you from thinking about what they're saying. It also reduces stress and anxiety a ton. If you are an anxious person, you can't really be anxious when you are living in the 100% present. You are anxious because you are concerned of some future action that is going to happen, or you are depressed because of past things that have happened. I've met very few people who have been able to be, I'm not going to say 100% in the present, but let's say 80 to 90% in the present. And those people are very calm and they are very at peace with the world, it seems like. Because by definition, if you are living in the present, you are not thinking about everything else going on in your life in the past or in the future. You are just there. And it's one of the most powerful things. So that's something that I'm going to try working on, which I don't even really know how to. I guess the first steps are scrolling, spending much less time on your phone. I noticed that has a distinct difference on being able to be present. I don't know why, but also just being, anytime I have a conversation, being 100% in that conversation, not thinking about the other priorities that I have or anything else going on in my life, just actually paying attention to the person, which is so rare. Most people never get paid attention to when they are talking. And it forces that person to get into the conversation. And that's how you build fantastic relationships over time. I guess another thing that I could do is avoid multitasking, because if you're multitasking, you are really not being too present. A lot of the times I just have to. I would like to know if anyone else has any tips. This is not really a solution-based video because I don't have the solution. I just know I have the problem, and I'm sure other people do too.